I just want to be able to go into a profession where I can truly support people and help them through their big and little milestones. And I don't want them to ever feel alone like I did in that moment.
Welcome to Fry Your Chickens, the podcast about facing fears, negativities, and self-doubts that can hold us back. Or as I like to call them, chickens. Get ready because it's time to tell those chickens that are holding you back to shut the cluck up. We will learn how real people did exactly that. I'm your host, Phil Barth. Let's get ready to fry. Have you ever been in the middle of a speech or presentation or a podcast for that matter and forgot what you're going to say? I mean, I do it every week, but I get to edit it out. My guest today is Melissa Powers Opasic, and recently on LinkedIn she talked and was very vulnerable about forgetting what she was going to say in a speech. And I said, I need to have you on my podcast because I remembered a time when I was in a speech contest and forgot what I was going to say. But she's got a whole lot of things to say today, and I can't wait for you to meet her. Melissa, welcome to the Fry Your Chickens podcast.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah. So, Melissa, tell us, first off, let's talk about the story. Let's trade war stories of the time we forgot what we were going to say. And I'll allow you as the guest to go first.
Perfect. So here I am preparing for this 5-minute speech that I have practiced over and over and over. And I was talking about building momentum in the storm or leading through adversity. And I kid you not, I practiced for more than 10 minutes not 10 minutes, more than 10 hours. And what is really funny is they say for every 1 minute of your speech that you will practice for at least 2 hours. And that statement is definitely true. So here I am, very, very confident. And as I walked into the room, I'm getting ready to share my speech, and then all of a sudden, my mind just blanks. But it's not just one time, it is several different times. And so I share my story of being a bartender right before I became a change leader, coach, and speaker. And I'm talking about this, how I started essentially, where I didn't have much and I didn't have insurance, I didn't have a car, I didn't have much money. And when I would get off the bus, and trying to find an apartment, it became incredibly hard, especially when I had developed bronchitis and didn't have the insurance to go ahead and pay for that. And so, as I'm looking for this apartment, all of a sudden I see this beautiful pink tulip. And by the way, it's storming as I'm looking for apartments. And again, no car. And I just see this beautiful pink tulip and it's standing there super tall and vibrant and everything. And I knew that apartment was going to be the apartment that I came in. But the thing was, as I'm sharing this speech, all of a sudden, all the things that I wanted to say just kind of blanked. I knew my story. I knew the different things that I wanted to say about leadership, but I think the response that I was getting from the crowd, being able to see the actual reactions, being able to see them laughing when I'm laughing, smiling when I'm smiling, and then just kind of going through the motions, my mind just slipped.
And so what'd you do?
I froze. So, what was so funny about it was I had these notes and I wasn't going to use my notes, but I put them on this table, and this was a practice round, but still a lot of people were looking at this. And I wasn't practicing with my notes. And as soon as I froze and had no idea what that next word was going to be or that next phrase, I'm trying to look at my paper, the handouts, and all of a sudden my mind couldn't even read English at that point.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, wait a second, you don't even know your native language. And so it just was one of those things where it's like, okay, I would get back to it, but then all of a sudden it would happen again and then again. And so there were at least 3 different places of freezing.
Well, but it was a practice.
It
right?
was a
And
practice.
that's why we practice.
That is very true.
Unfortunately, I wasn't quite as lucky. I don't think I did enough pre-work this year. It was a speech contest 2010 for Toastmasters, and I was in the area speech contest, and I just froze. And I was trying to come up with words that would make it sound like I was just going into continuing the story, and people could see it, and I could see it in their eyes, and then it was just like, and of course, the
Yes.
first thought in my mind is, well, there's going to be next year because you don't win a speech contest if one of your opponents doesn't freeze up, which is exactly what happened. The first place finisher, in fact, did not freeze up. She had a great story. I probably wouldn't have beaten her either way, but
Yes.
that's neither here nor there. It happens. It it absolutely happens. I and you and I both had the same thing where we were practicing for a contest speech or something where it had to be a certain amount of time and so on. If I do that in a keynote or something, I have my notes. And the trick I've learned is, one of the questions I get, and you walk over to your notes, and whatever the line is, you just form that as a question. Is, one of the questions I get is, what do I do if the chicken blah, 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 and then you're back in the story. So, for
That's
what
a
it's worth.
Yeah, I need to definitely apply that to my speech. Well, I'm
So,
glad that I'm not the only one that had a freeze moment.
right. And what happened to me the next year was I went all the way to the finals of the International Speech Contest. So maybe this is a sign of good things to come next year. Or
I
this year.
will accept it. Yes, I have to do the same speech here in a couple months, so
Is it
I'm
for
channeling the energy.
was it for the storytelling contest or something else?
It wasn't for storytelling, but it was for, so I'm part of the NSA Ohio's Pro Track program. Yes. And so here it was the perfect place to mess up, to be honest, because it is a way to practice your speech that you're going to deliver in front of the National Speaking Association in Ohio, where everyone gets to hear it. So, like, if there is going to be a place, that is going to be it. And as I'm freezing, I'm like, hey, this is what I kept on hearing is like, it's okay. And you do have those moments.
Fantastic. Okay. So that'll be probably in May when you deliver those. Is that right?
Yep.
In the
May
May NSA Ohio?
16th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I hope to be in the audience May 16th. I'm not sure if I'm in or oh, well, I may be in the audience. The calendar is iffy. But I will be in the audience. And if you freeze up, I'm just going to like squeeze a chicken or something and then they'll all look at me and stop looking at you and then you'll be good to go.
Oh my gosh, I actually really love this strategy. We'll have a distraction.
I'll be your chicken distraction. It's what I
Yes,
do.
I love it.
Today's chicken is a glow in the dark model, by the way. For those of you who are not watching this but listening, it is a glow in the dark model.
Love.
So you were a bartender. Where did you tend bar?
I worked at the Winking Lizard. So, what's really fun about the Winking Lizard, and just to kind of rewind in time, here I had graduated from college, and then it was right before the recession. So, it was really hard to find a job. And so, it was like, okay, I just moved to Columbus, and the Winking Lizard is not only known for their chicken wings, but they also have very, very good beer. So not only did I learn how to make drinks, I became a beer connoisseur. And my greatest opportunity was when people said that they hated beer, I would find exactly the beer that they were going to love.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, they had lizards or winking lizards in Cleveland, Ohio, and then they started branching out to Columbus.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to put, next time I'm in Columbus, I'm going to have to put Winking Lizard on my visit list.
Yeah, the thing is, they got rid of like a bunch of them,
Oh,
unfortunately. And so I think there still is one maybe in Reynoldsburg
okay.
area. But if you go to Cleveland, if you go to a game or something, you should be able to see other weeping lizards there.
Now, you were also a bartender in Put in Bay at one point, correct?
I actually was a cocktail waitress
Cocktail
at Point
waitress.
Bay. Yeah. And so it was really funny because I'm from Northwest Ohio and I was going to Ohio University, which was the farthest place in Ohio that you would still be in Ohio. And then during the summers, my parents were like, hey, why don't you work at Put in Bay? Which is really funny if you've ever been to Put in Bay, where it's like, oh, thank you. I guess I'm gonna work on the party island. And
Yeah.
so Yeah. So my first year, I worked at a cart rental place, and then during the weekends, I would sell beads because that's what a college student does. But then when I would come back the summers afterwards, then I would cocktail waitress at the longest bar in the world, the Beer Barrel.
The beer barrel.
Yes.
I am familiar with the beer barrel. I have
Yes.
been there.
Oh my gosh, the Beer Barrel was so much fun, especially with Jell-O shots. That was my favorite activity when I was working because I could always sell Jell-O shots and then we would have competitions.
Very nice. Now,
Yes.
it was packed, I'm guessing, correct? The
Oh,
beer barrel.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Always packed.
Yeah, that goes back for years. It just you could barely fit, barely move. So I'm guessing it was a decent job in terms
Oh
of
my
keeping
gosh.
you busy and tips and so on.
Absolutely. Whenever I would do Jell-O shots, I would make at least $700 a night, which I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then the weekends, it would be 200 to 400 like per night, depending on what you were doing and the type of crowd that was coming in.
Holy cow. So did
Yeah,
you had to live over there, right? I mean, you can't commute from
that's correct. So you would have to get on the island. You would have to go on the Miller Ferry or the Jet Express.
right.
Typically, I went on the Miller Ferry. And then, yeah, the first year I lived in like a little dorm area, but then my second through fifth year, I was living in these hotels that was for people that work there. And everyone's like, "Oh, you lived in a hotel." And I'm like, "It's not that great. It's not what you think." But I mean, it was still good. You would be there like the whole entire time unless you wanted to get a little one day getaway.
Awesome. Yeah, I grew up as we talked offline. I grew up in Marblehead, Ohio. So there
Yeah.
was the Jet Express, or if you want to go to the other side of the island, you could. It was a quick boat ride from Catawba, the point of Catawba, to the at the time non-bar part of the island, more the
Yep.
residential. But yeah, or if you had a friend with a boat, that was the preferred
Yes.
method to get to and from Put Bay.
I unfortunately did not have that option, but it was still great to go there.
It is a fun time. All right, I'm now going to bring up Darcy the dog. On the podcast, we have a talking puppy, and she is going to ask you a question because that's what we do here. I will share the screen and everything.
Fantastic.
All right.
I'm excited for Darcy.
Hi, Melissa. Your website is Sweet Honeybee Life. I heard honey is good, but I can't have it. Here's my question. How did you decide on that name?
All right. So Darcy wants to know, Sweet Honeybee Life, how did you decide on that name?
Yes. So this has always been something that I had always been on my mind for a very, very long time. So back when I told you I was bartending over at the Winking Lizard, I used to have a bunch of bar regulars that would come in, and because of how much they came in and how much I supported them, they would play Sweet Melissa by the Allman Brothers. Well, what's really fun about Sweet Melissa is Melissa actually means honeybee. And so I knew that whenever I started a business, it would always be called Sweet Honeybee. And so I got into coaching, and then I immediately knew that was going to become my name.
Awesome. Darcy gives
Yeah,
that two paws up because she doesn't have thumbs.
fantastic.
So tell me about the coaching business.
Yeah, so basically, right when I got into change management, I was obviously helping organizations go through change, whether it was system changes, culture changes, other types of tech changes. And I also was going through my own personal change. I had found out a little bit later that year that I was diagnosed with infertility, which was really hard. I did not tell anyone that I was going through infertility, none of my friends, none of my family. And so I had gone pretty much a year without saying anything about it. And I had some doctors that were a little bit pessimistic with what the outcome was going to be. And so what ended up happening was in that moment, I just felt so incredibly alone, especially as I am hearing about how it's going to be really hard to get pregnant. I ended up getting pregnant, but then had a miscarriage. And it wasn't until after the holidays, where this happened during the holidays, it was hard. And so I remember telling my coworker that I just want to be able to go into a profession where I can truly support people and help them through their big and little milestones. And I don't want them to ever feel alone like I did in that moment. And so I told her how I wanted to support people. And she's like, "Oh, you mean a life coach?" And I'm like, "No, not a life coach." And so then I started looking it up and I was like, "Oh, wait a second. No, that is coaching." And so I started researching different programs, found the program that I specifically liked because I really did want to support people through change. Being a change expert, I understand how organizations go through change, but I really wanted to help individuals, especially high achievers, through the different changes that they're going through. And so that's when I decided to start Sweet Honeybee a year later,
And how long have you been doing that?
since 2020. So what's really funny was I started my business in January of 2020, not realizing that we were about to go through a global pandemic. But what was really interesting about it was as everything is starting to happen in March, it was like, oh, wait a second, I know how to support people through change. And then all of a sudden, I developed a Sweet Honeybee series where it was one tip a day through the pandemic. And so that was a really great way to provide positivity and inspiration to everybody else. And so I would use social media to showcase some of those different tips.
How cool. I mean, you really, nobody would say, "Oh, I want to start a new coaching business right before the pandemic," if you knew it was coming. But it sounds like you really leveraged it and made something great out of it.
I really tried to. It was one of those things where I've had to be pretty resilient most of my life. And so starting a business before the pandemic, not the easiest thing to do, but then it was like, wait a second, this is like a huge opportunity. And I think they say for every one negative thing that happens, there's always three opportunities that come out of it. And so it was definitely my space to be able to shine and to really get people through this hurdle that we were all experiencing at that time.
I love the positivity there. I also, if you're going to help people through changes and you get hit with the pandemic and you throw up your hands, that's probably not a good advertisement for your business.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't handle this change. I'm out.
Right?
So,
We're done.
so it obviously worked out, and kudos to you for doing that. I love the fact that you're helping people through what can be some fairly traumatic times, any kind of
Yeah.
change. And if there's one thing I've learned, and I'm sure you could back me up on this, is the changes are coming more often and faster than ever
Oh my
before.
gosh. 100%. And it's happening so much faster than it ever did before. And the thing is, when we're thinking about all those different changes that are happening in our professional lives, they're also happening to us in our personal lives. And I tend to think that the stuff that's happening in our personal lives almost outweighs all the stuff that's happening in the professional. And so it all merges together. And when you do think about the stuff that's happening professionally, it's like, oh my gosh, we need to slow down for a second and also think about how do we put this all together and really think about the pace of all the things that are happening when we still have to go, go, go.
That's really, really good. And I agree with you on the personal side of it. I
Yeah.
I don't know who had the quote, or this goes back years and years ago that I read. You basically have a lot of balls in life that you have to juggle,
Oh my gosh,
and
yes.
there's work and so on and so on. But the family is glass. So if work has to drop for a while, it'll bounce and you'll catch it back up. You don't let the family bounce because it could crack. The ball
Yeah.
could break. So that's you have to have your priorities, and it's tough to do. And I realize that. I mean, just when things were insanely paced enough, now we have AI.
Yes.
And my personal advice is animate your dog and have it talk and sing and whatnot. But that may not be appropriate for everyone. But those of us who are hosting podcasts, by all means, just me. No, if you have another podcast and you are listening right now, don't steal my stuff. Okay. So,
Well, hey, I feel like everyone needs a talking AI
I,
dog.
I
Or you are going to be the lone talking AI dog out there, and we're
I
going to all come to you
that's
and
true.
Darcy.
And, and I have actually Claire Edwards from NSA Ohio was a guest on this podcast, and we animated her dog. So if you want to schedule some time to animate your dog, we can absolutely do that and
Oh
make your
my
dog talk.
gosh, we
So
need to do that.
I'll think
I
yes,
would love to hear Hazel's voice as well.
we can set up a time to do that, and then we need to set it up before this publishes goes live because then we'll put a little YouTube clip of Hazel talking in the show notes.
Fantastic.
And if we don't get it done before then, this whole thing will just be deleted and we'll put it out later.
Can we get her talking in her cone since
Oh,
she's wearing a
absolutely.
cone right now? Yeah.
Here's all it takes is a picture because spoiler alert, the little cute Darcy dog that you see talking and asking questions, the current Darcy dog could eat the little Darcy dog for lunch. I mean,
Oh my goodness.
oh yeah, they get big so fast. They grow up so fast. Anyway,
Yes. Oh, Darcy.
yeah.
Hi there, it's Hazel. Do you like my cone? I'm not a fan. Check out my mom's page at sweethoneybeelife.com. Gotta go. Bye.
All right, so now we're going on to the next piece of this. Melissa, as a change management expert, you're helping people fry a lot of chickens. Let me ask you this. What chicken do you have to fry?
That's such a great question. For me, I would say it is that perfection chicken where it's like you want to get everything perfect. And then you put all this pressure on yourself. But then when you put that pressure on yourself, you lose that moment to be in the flow. And it's like, it's all about progress over perfection. So get rid of that little chicken that is always trying to be perfect. Being imperfect is actually what makes everything more magical.
I love it. The next thing is the most important question, the question that everybody has to answer on this podcast. You know it, you love it. It's introduced by a band because we like to overdo things here on the Fry Your Chickens podcast. The name of the band is Lord Cluckington and the Headbangers. There they are right now, and they are going to give us the heavy metal introduction to the most important question.
I'm excited.
It's time for the big question because everybody cares. Fight one bear-sized chicken or 100 chicken-sized bears.
All right, let's stop the sharing. And let's bring back, let's show the live version of Lord Cluckington himself, aka the Red Rooster of
Oh my
Regret.
gosh.
So yeah, he likes to make appearances on the podcast. You know, maybe give us a little opening there. And that was AI, of course. And I'm looking at it and thinking, you know, I did that a couple months ago. It's probably really outdated and old, so I probably need to do a new one. But it gets the job.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, it's a rock band
It is. It is. With like
and they're having fun.
they are. They are living their rubber chicken dreams. But let's go back to the important question. Which
Yes.
would you rather fight? One bear-sized chicken or 100 chicken-sized bears, and why?
I'm gonna go with a bear-sized chicken just because I feel like I could become friends with it. Like as soon as they're like ready to duke it out, like what if they're like a big teddy bear and it's just a chicken? And then like if I think about Big Bird, like Big Bird is really, really nice. So how can we just become friends and like get over things?
I like that.
Yeah.
There are no wrong answers on this, and
Yeah.
certainly that was one of the better ones. So,
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
And I have some like ninja skills too. So I'm pretty sure I can go ahead and beat this
Well,
bear-sized chicken.
yeah, in the event, and if you do, barbecue. So,
Yeah, there we go.
yeah. So,
Cool.
FYI, there have been many different answers, as in, like, can I determine what kind of a bear? Because if it was 100 koala bears that were chicken sized,
Oh,
that would be okay. Or 100 Pooh bears. And the answer is, as the guest, you get to set it up. I
oh my
had
gosh.
I had one person ask me, "Can I have a weapon?" Yes, and then okay, well then I only need to take out one versus 100. And I personally, I would go with 100. I'd make them Pooh bears
Oh,
because
that's, yes.
I would argue I could probably set up a picture if I went and raided my son's closet from when he was a little guy, and probably set up 100 Pooh bears down here in the basement and show a picture of them or close to it. So
Yeah.
he had a Winnie the Pooh addiction. It made for great speech material. And
Yeah.
honestly, who am I to talk about collecting rubber chickens? Right.
Yes.
For those of you who are listening and not watching, I just showed the chicken dance Elmo that I have.
Now, does he actually dance?
Oh my goodness. I'm so glad you asked. Yes. Let's see. Is it this? Ready?
Come on, everybody. Let's do the chicken dance with Elmo.
Oh my gosh.
Elmo wants to be a chicken. Elmo wants to be a duck. Duck, 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 duck. Wrap your
I
arms
think I need
Wrap your arms
this.
like a chicken. Duck, 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 duck. Make a sound like a chicken. Make a sound like a chicken. Duck, 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 duck. Elmo wants to be a chicken. Elmo wants to be a duck. Duck, 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 duck.
I think I need to buy that ASAP.
We were in South Carolina, and we go to the Coles in South Carolina on vacation because no, let's not. Because why not? I mean, they have different things, and we had Kohl's Cash or something. I don't know. And I'm walking around the store, and because my wife was done, and I was looking for my in-laws, and I'm walking in, and all of a sudden, I hear Elmo singing and dancing. And I didn't think anything of it. And so I walked from how Kohl's stores are laid out. I walked from the end with the toys all the way to the other end. And it was about when I got to that end, I said, he wasn't singing. He was doing the chicken dance. Okay. So meanwhile, there I come and I put it underneath some stuff in the cart. And my wife's pulling the stuff out. And really? Like, really? He does the chicken dance. It was the hit of the vacation. We had him on the kitchen bar area doing the chicken dance. It was wonderful.
Oh
So
my gosh. That's the greatest.
Coles.com, it might be on Amazon, I don't know, but yeah, I had to have that. He is,
Yeah.
you know,
And it's like the greatest thing for your collection. And with him dancing, like
I
the
know,
best
right?
entertainment.
Yeah, that is solid entertainment. And here's the other one. This is I can't remember his name. I call him Henny B. Youngman.
Oh.
Are you there? Oh, wait. You got to turn him on. Elmo's always on. Okay.
What does B stand for? Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
Because he be. I don't know. He be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, whatever I say, he says.
Oh, I love him as well. My
Yeah.
question is, how many chickens do you have?
Okay. So, are you talking in my personal collection, or how many do I have that will ultimately be given away?
Your personal collection.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe 50.
50. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. They're in drawers and stuff. So there's the pirate chicken. Um, the I don't even know who she is. She's got her little bathing suit on chicken.
Yeah.
Somewhere in here, my daughter-in-law got me a fried chicken, rubber chicken.
Wow.
It's a fried rubber chicken. He's in here somewhere. So yeah, I'd say 40, 50 for my personal collection. And
Yeah.
then I have I have gone over 1,000 that I bought off of Amazon of the little guys. It's about 1,500 now. And
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's a lot.
yeah, so those are the giveaways. You have
Yeah.
one, or maybe
Yes,
two by
I
now.
have two of them.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
So yeah, I know. And the one I'm guessing it's in your left hand. The blue one, That actually has the QR code. And that's what happens with the,
Yes.
I have given away over 1,000 at events with my little QR code, because business cards people don't necessarily keep, but rubber chickens, they keep.
Oh my gosh. I love that I have two of them, and I keep on thinking about where I can bring them with me because I love things like this. And you're right. You can always scan this QR code whenever you want.
Right. It will take you to my website. So,
And it will make me think of you every single time.
yeah,
And then when people come by and see my chickens, I have a story to tell.
100%. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So, yes, I do have a rubber chicken addiction. I am in no hurry to go to any kind of 12-step or 12 squawk program to end the rubber chicken addiction. In fact, I will probably be ordering a few hundred more for the spring events, because if you're coming to one of the spring events, no longer do we toss them to the audience. We're going to have them for everybody in the audience and then use them as
Oh.
audience participation.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Any
Now,
chance? Oh, go ahead.
no, please. You're the guest.
Any chance you would get a hot pink one?
I will look for it as hot. So that's as close. I got that in the big version.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I will look. Well, you saw the ones I had at the NSA Ohio meeting on Saturday,
Yeah.
where I had blue, and I don't know. I'm going to say there's
Yeah.
a decent chance.
I feel like I need to collect every color of the rainbow, by the way. It's going to
It's like
become my
coming-
mission to collect them.
You're going to have to start coming to the events, and
It's going to be like, you know how people that are Jeep owners, they have all the little ducks and different types of ducks. I'm going to have the Phil Barth chickens, and it's going to be a collection.
I love the idea, and I'm also thinking that maybe we have a CRV. Maybe for CRV owners, I can start a rubber chickens up front collection.
Oh, I love this. Yes.
Okay. Photo of the rubber chickens will be in the show notes. I'm going to do it because I've got enough. I'm going to put a bunch of them on there. Take a photo. It will be in the show notes, and we are going to start a trend. And you heard it here on the Fry Your Chickens podcast first.
Love it.
Melissa, this has been fantastic. Where can we find you online for your coaching services?
Absolutely. So you can find me at sweethoneybeelife.com, my personal website, or you can find me on all the socials. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm even on TikTok. And so you can hit me up wherever you go the most.
Excellent. Links will absolutely be in the show notes. Any closing thoughts for our audience?
Yeah, so I would love to say that, at the end of the day, we are all human. And just going back to my flop story, the thing is, we all have very real and very human moments. And I think it's really just understanding who we are as people and just moving through life, showing up. The thing is, it's all about showing up and how do you get momentum from that? And I'm just so grateful to be here today. So thank you.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was excellent advice from Melissa Powers Opasic on how to fry those chickens. Until next time, keep frying. Hey, it's Phil. Like today's show? Well, you'll clucking love my Fry Your Chickens newsletter on LinkedIn and Substack. Links are in the notes.